From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. Because the critical thing we must do to stop the disease spreading between households. You should not be meeting friends. If your friends ask you to meet, you should say no.
How are you doing, Cali Crowd? As I mentioned in my 2020 calisthenics goals videos, handstands was one of the various skills that I really wanted to learn this year. And capitalizing on the fact that the coronavirus has us all locked down, I've decided to move the handstand skill up the priority list. So today is day 0, hour 0, handstands. If you would like to be part of the helpful and motivating community that we've got here at Cali To The Crowd, be sure to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell as well so that you never miss out on a Cali To The Crowd video. As always with my day 0 videos, I'll be defining what the success of this challenge would look like. The goal here is to hold a handstand for a minimum of 10 seconds. That is to say, I go from standing to kicking up into a handstand with no support, hold a straight body line for 10 seconds, so no banana shapes, and then return to a standing position. Today I'll be going through a 4-point checklist that I've created to establish where I am with respect to mobility, strength, and most importantly, balance. Unlike techniques like the L-sit and muscle up, where I had a vague view on where I was starting from and what to expect from the movement, I have no idea what I'm working with the handstand. So figuring out what level of ability I'm coming at this challenge from is probably a good place to begin. Let's start with the wrists. The wrists are a small joint, and so before I throw my full body weight on them, I'm going to take a look at how flexible they are. During the handstand, your wrists are placed into extension at about 90 odd degrees. And by extending my arm out in front of me and attempting to flex my hand back towards myself, also known as dorsiflexion, I can get a great idea of how good my wrist mobility is. Using my own strength, I can pull my hand back to about 80 degree dorsiflexion. And when I actively press into extension against a hard surface, I can comfortably get to 90 degrees. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with that. I spent my day job as a corporate desk jockey, so I expected my wrists to be horribly immobile, and they're not, so great. So let's move on to the next part of the handstand, the shoulders. To hold a handstand with a straight body line, we need to have shoulder mobility that allows us to hold our arms above our heads without bananaing our lumbar spine. So to test where we are with that, stand back flat against the wall, ensuring the back of your head and your heels are also pressed against the wall as well. Arms relaxed by your side. Now, without arching your back, slowly lift your arms up above your head, keeping them straight and parallel to each other. The point at which your back comes away from the wall, if it does at all, is the extent of your shoulder mobility at the moment. Mine could be better. I have about 20 degrees of range that I could really work on in order to get my arms straight above my head. Again, really happy with that. So let's move on to the third test, overhead pressing strength. The handstand involves you pushing your whole body weight over your head. Over your head? Under your head? An easy way to test how comfortable you are with doing this is the pike press. Given we don't have the luxury of a gym with pleo boxes, here I am in my spare room at home. I've stacked a bed 2 mattresses deep, and we're going to get into a press up position with our feet elevated. Walk forward until you're essentially in an inverted L shape and simply hold it for about 10, 15, 20 seconds. This tests quite a few things that we can tick off while getting into that position. Number 1, overhead pressing strength. So how comfortable am I with pressing what is effectively my full body weight over my head while keeping my arms straight and expressing good scapular elevation, so pushing tall through the shoulders. Number 2, we have active shoulder mobility. So can I keep those arms straight and in line with my body? Number 3, how comfortable am I with being upside down? That's something that's really new to me. I'm starting to understand why so many calisthenics athletes and gymnasts start with the L-sit as the technique that they learn first. A lot of transferable skills being applied up in here. Whew. Breathe. Straight arm strength really isn't my jam. Anyway, on to our final test, hand balance. Tom Merrick, and I'll link to his channel below, actually describes hand balance as applying the same rules that your feet abide by to your hands. That is to say, when you lean forward, you place more weight on your toes, and when you move back, that weight moves towards your heels. And I want to test how good I am at doing this on my hands, so I'm going to attempt the frog stand. The frog stand is probably one of the weirdest things I've ever done, but it's a safe way of assessing your hand balance level, and I could hold one for about 5 seconds. Okay, so I'm really happy with how I've done on these tests that I designed, so no bias there. But I want to see how I fare when I do an actual handstand, so here goes. Okay, so straight arms, check. Pushing tall through shoulders, check. Balance without the wall. Balance without the wall.
2 hours later.
So clearly a lot of work left to do on that handstand. It's a little bit shoddy, but it's not like I've got anything better to do. Locked in the house because of Corona. I'll be back next week with another Cali To The Crowd video showing more calisthenics progress, hopefully. Let me know in the comment section what you guys are doing with your spare time now you're in lockdown. If any of you guys want to work on the handstand as well, drop me a video of what you're doing on Instagram. Tag me. I'll share it. Let's run through this together. But be safe, guys. Until next week, peace.